Rick Kieswetter on the show today, stand-up comedian, writer, actor. It's going to be really cool, man. He's lived in loads of different places all around the world, so I think this is going to be quite a cool episode. There's a few announcements to make. Me and my tech guy Colin. If you'd like to say hello, Colin.
Hi, how are you?
Colin never shows his. You got to click to your face, Colin, and say hello. I paid for that green screen.
Give me 1 second.
Sorry, no, it's cruel to bring you in.
Because I'm on screen in two shots. Let's see if I can recreate.
Oh yeah. Well, that's bringing to my point I was going to make. Me and Colin were still trying to get to grips with the live streaming. So everyone that's been tuning in, I really appreciate you watching. And we just have to apologize for all the random emails you're getting saying going live now. Because we keep live streaming stuff accidentally before the show's actually started. And I think last week, Colin, didn't we? We accidentally streamed about 20 minutes of us just slagging off a Cafe Mode restaurant.
Yeah.
Which if you don't know, it's a comedy show that runs in London underneath an Italian restaurant, which has recently gone defunct. We were talking about that pre-show and just totally slagging off.
The restaurant is great.
Yeah, exactly.
In light of
now you
rumors.
Say that. But I think, one of the fans of the show, Trenton from Who Am I London, that's his YouTube channel, he nicely emailed me and said, Dave, you're going out live publicly slagging off this restaurant, so maybe don't do that. So thanks, Trenton, for doing that, and thanks for tuning in as well. And this is another, I wanted to show this as well. This is another thing that we accidentally streamed. This is just Colin's. Colin, our tech guy, we just streamed a still of Colin just holding his head.
I think this is a great example.
In a green square. This got more likes than some of the actual episodes.
It's a good example of the struggles that we face on the Dave Green Street View show.
That is, and you've been up all night, haven't you, Colin?
Not in this video, although it looks like it. Today I've been up all night, but not in this video you're about to
at church,
show.
Right?
Yeah.
Colin's very religious. He's been at church all night. All right. So that's cool. I want to say thanks for tuning in as well. And I think Alex Newby as well. I was going out live as a test this morning and he sort of joined in on the chat. So if you're watching Alex, thanks for that. Thanks for interacting there, because now we know the live chat works on YouTube. So, I think that's pretty much it for the announcements. And thanks everyone for joining in on the cloud, our little cloud games as well, because that makes a big difference when we know you're watching live. So, all right. So, without further ado, we're going to bring Rick on. So, come in, Rick. There he is. He's been hiding backstage in the kitchen.
Hi.
Did we close the door though?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Oh yeah. We're very, very professional here. We make the guests wait in the kitchen.
Important technical stuff.
Exactly. All right. So Okay. So it's Rick Kieswetter. You may know Rick from the Edinburgh show. You got one of my favorite titles of your Edinburgh show, No More Mr. Rice Guy, which is a fantastic name. You're also a contestant on Gladiators, and you're also doing this great show at the Bill Murray Angel Comedy on this Sunday the 17th, and it's called Yellow Comedy, right?
Yellow Christmas.
Yellow Christmas.
Yeah.
And what is that? That's like a compilation show of loads of East Asian comedians.
Yeah,
right?
for the first time in the UK.
That sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
And you got loads of great people on there. You got Phil Wang on there, who also did this show. Shout out to Phil
Nigel
Wang.
Long and Rialina and Ken Chang.
That's going to be an awesome show. So where do people have to buy tickets? It's just...
Yeah, if they just go on to the Angel site and it's on the Bill Murray. Yeah, if it's not sold out, I mean, like I said, it's for the first time in the UK that all East Asian artists are going to be together sharing the same stage. Yeah. So that's it's quite exciting.
This Sunday.
Yeah,
this Sunday at 9:00, guys. Whack on your cans.
All right, okay.
And we can start the show. All right. So, where were you born and raised, Rick? Japan, right?
Yes, I was born.
Is our first stop?
I was born in Okayama, Japan, and this is something that I for a long time, my adopted parents actually told me that I was born in Fukuoka, and then I just found out about 10 years ago that
they lied to you.
No, well, they didn't know. They didn't care. They didn't really care where I was born. They just thought that, he's our son now, and he's here in New Jersey. So that's kind of all that he needs to know. And then when I was getting married, I needed to get a birth certificate and also because I didn't have a birth certificate. And I had a Japanese Kiseki, which is the family register. And on there, it showed my real place of birth, which was Okayama, Yamaguchi-ken.
Here, this hospital, right?
Yes, which makes a lot of sense because before then, I didn't realize, but I have a real sort of penchant for sort of selvage denim. And that's all, for some reason, Okayama is actually the home of selvage denim.
So hang on, what is that salvage denim? What old stuff?
No, salvage denim is a particular kind of denim, which is.
Sorry, I thought you were saying salvaged.
Not salvaged. Okay, well, it's kind of salvaged, really, because it's actually it's a particular type of connoisseur denim, which is prevalent now. Obviously, not with everyone, Dave. And but however,
didn't even know what it was.
No, yeah, it's denim that looks like it looks like this,
like that.
Because it's a finished on the side. The material it's salvaged in as much as it's salvaged from culture, from American culture, where they the Japanese used to, because they're really good at like doing things again, like reinventing things, and it's denim using old looms from America and creating, which is essentially old style cuts of particular denim fabric. That is the home of
you think you were
selvage
drawn to that because of your...
Well, I never knew. But then
roots.
when I looked on it, I said, oh my God, I was born in Okayama. No wonder I like it's. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
It could be.
So so you were born in Japan, adopted, brought up in New Jersey, and were you? So only recently you've started like looking back into your roots.
Only recently. And the thing is,
so you probably have no memory of this place.
No, and it's because all my memory of it is all from anime films.
Oh, really?
In my brain, what's been implanted is none of this type of sort of like new modern kind of all my views of Japan are really like Akira Kurosawa films, like,
because what age were you here until?
I was only there until I was like 4 years old.
Okay.
And because my parents, who were in the army at the time, that's probably a key thing. I'm an army brat, and they were stationed in a place called Hakata, Japan, with an Air Force base there, in Japan, and there was an opportunity to adopt Japanese babies. I assume, and their story with me was essentially that there was another family who was a Japanese American couple who wanted to adopt, but they couldn't adopt me because they had already adopted a girl, and you couldn't adopt a girl and a boy together because obviously always going to have sex.
It's
with
not the
that
done
girl.
thing.
Yeah. So you couldn't do that. So they actually saw me, and they adopted me, and it was fantastic because I had been in some sort of care homes and things. I don't know what the situation in Japan is, but apparently not very often children are given up for adoption in Japan because it's not the done thing. They'll live in a different home, but they'll still be legally. It's just not a done thing in Japan at all. So I don't know.
So they'd be in a care home, but they're still legal.
Yeah, but they're still there. Yeah. So I mean, obviously that's a cultural thing. But obviously, on these streets here, just to think that I was actually, around. This is my hometown.
Yeah. But you have no connection to it, really.
Well, it's like.
Hang on, Colin's trying to. Is everything okay over there, Colin?
I just want to ask
He looks worried.
our listeners, I can still see the image of me behind you. I can't see any of these locations.
Oh, really? That's weird.
So,
well, I was located on.
This is
Colin's
having a bit
face.
of a
so
technical hitch. So
Alex Newby is saying big up in chat. He's ready for takeoff. Can he tell us? I think you've still got my head behind you.
Why would that be happening?
We've lost the connection possibly to our Google Street View computer.
All right, so let me quickly restart this OBS, right? Yeah, all right. Sorry, bear with us, guys. Things like this do happen. This is what happens with a live show. All right, are we back?
Yes,
You'll
that
be
looks
back.
good.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. So we were just streaming that whole conversation about Rick's life.
Yes.
Over an image of
an image of me looking
That's right.
stressed.
Okay, we're back in though. That's cool.
Well, that's great. That was quite emotional for me anyway. So
Yeah. So you grew up inside Colin's face.
yeah.
How was that?
Such a warm place as
Man,
well.
you're probably glad you were adopted, right?
Yeah.
Of Colin's Irish
Made of
face.
salvaged denim.
All right. So anyway, right. So back in the street. So this is so viewers at home, you wouldn't have seen any of this, but we've been walking around Japan.
Yeah, but we were talking about essentially how removed I am from this area. I mean, what I did though, an indication of that is when I was searching for my birth mum and going into researching Japan and where I was born and all that sort of stuff. I'd come about getting my mum's last known address, and a friend of mine who is a Japanese skater who I know at the bowls, he actually translated the family register and found my last known address and researched it and sent me a link on a street view
really?
this, and he sent me the link and it was just like I opened it and I was thinking, oh my god, this is where I was born. This is where.
And how did that feel when you initially saw
Well, I was overwhelmed emotionally. You can imagine. I I closed it down, and about 45 minutes later, Hiro, my mate, actually sent me a link and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry. This is where you were born."
Which was that hospital we looked at at the beginning,
yeah, but the thing is, it just
so he
goes
could be
to
wrong
show
about
you.
that as well.
Yeah. That's
How
the
many
thing.
times can he tell you?
I don't know, but it was just like, I mean, I think it goes back to things about what do we actually remember, and so in an instant, I had, applied all these sort of feelings and emotions to seeing a place that was the wrong place.
Yeah.
So,
in retrospect.
in retrospect, yeah. So I mean, this could have been it. I mean, it's just it's like what it is emotional in as much as you can think this is probably the life or the scene or a similar scene where my life would have been. And anyway, Dave, I don't know.
Do you ever? I mean, it's an obvious question, but do you ever stop to think about that? What your life? Would
Yeah,
have
of course.
like?
I think all people do to a certain degree. But certainly adopted people. I mean, my question to you, Dave Green, is that are you qualified to be actually doing these psychological deep dives into people's psyche?
Am I qualified? Well, you worried you're going to come out like damaged?
I know. Well, I don't know. I mean,
You're going to leave.
Am I going to be and 1, 2, 3 out? Is it going to be when?
Don't worry, I won't hypnotize you.
All right. Okay.
We haven't had that happen yet.
Okay.
But
nice streets, eh?
Yeah, this is not. Do you speak Japanese? Or
No, not
Japanese?
at all.
No.
Not at all. That's the whole. I mean, isn't that wonderful?
That's an incredible sign. Look at that. I wonder what that says.
I don't know. I think that might be
Colin's face.
Temples, because that's because they look like the symbols look like spiders. The spider house. I don't know.
The old spider house. All right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a word for it that you can't read Japanese.
Yeah, there we go.
So what? So now would be a good time to actually play our game.
Mm-hmm.
Where have you seen this? Where we look at the clouds.
Yes.
So what we do, speaking of psychoanalyzing the guest.
Oh my gosh.
And this is the part of the show where you guys can join in at home. So what we do, remember when you were a child, cast your mind back to when you were a child, look at these clouds and see if you see a picture in the clouds. Comment in on the Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're watching, comment in at home, what pictures do you see in the clouds? And you'll win something from my house that we haven't decided yet, because we're yet to get the promotional mugs. But as well, this is a chance for you, Rick, to tell us, like an ink blot test.
Okay.
And don't worry, you're not being hypnotized as much as that music.
Okay. All right.
I'll tell you otherwise.
All right. Well, I see a guy in there, a guy's head. Is that quite a popular?
I see that. I see
the guy's head with a big nostril. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
I think the human brain is like geared towards seeing faces.
Has my photograph come back up again, or are you still on clouds?
This is clouds. Yes, Colin.
It looks a bit like Elephant Man.
It does look a bit like Colin.
Well, that doesn't look like Colin.
It's Colin.
No, not Colin at all. But
flick to your face, Colin. We'll show them. Look. See at home. Does this cloud look like Colin's face?
Let me pose like the cloud.
Oh yeah,
it's Colin, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
that's Colin's face.
Spooky. But what's coming out of Colin's nose then? What's at the under? The end there, that
just
bit.
a huge lump of
I don't know.
cocaine.
Just snorted something. Yeah,
That's how he stays up all night.
Yeah.
So what about, all right. So that one's a face. What about this guy? Who's this?
It looks like a
Who's this
rabbit.
fella?
Looks like a rabbit jumping.
Jumping. Where are you seeing rabbit there?
I don't know. There's
Why are you
a
saying
tail. There's a thing there, and then the ears. Kind of. I know I'm pushing it a bit, but
That's cool, man. I hear you. There's no wrong answers here, Rick. All right.
Wow.
That'll do for clouds.
I wish life was like that.
All right. So where's the next stop? There's a nice little interlude there. Just gives the audience.
Oh, this
interaction.
this is my high school in New Jersey. I mean, because essentially there was because as I mentioned before, I'm an army brat, so we moved in a lot of places beforehand. Yeah, we moved to in a bit near Virginia, and then we moved to Columbus, Ohio. And this is all the time where my dad was in Vietnam, and then we decided essentially to move and settle down in one place, and because my grandpa is from New Jersey, Atlantic City, and Philadelphia. He knows that area. We moved to New Jersey, and this is my high school in New Jersey. It's in Medford Lakes, New Jersey, and I was the only Asian student in that place. In that place. Out of, you can imagine, thousands. And
was there any other ethnic?
No,
backgrounds,
there was
or
one
just
black
totally white?
dude. There was one black guy.
Yeah.
And there's one black guy in there, and so it was just like we were all lumped into one other kind of. But
And
everybody else.
Did you get trouble with that? Were you?
Well, not trouble, but it was just like it was one of those things. I was in school play. I mean, that was good, and it was. And this is the truth. I South Pacific, and I was the native boy, and played in that. And I was a 6-year-old boy. I was 15 at the time. So you can imagine I was a late bloomer as well. So that's Shawnee High School, and that's where it was. It was kind of, if you know the film Dazed and Confused.
Oh yeah.
And it was kind of a mix between that and Kids.
Oh really?
But
In what way? What, like drug taking?
Well, there was if you went out there as kids were like smoking loads of dope and stuff like that around there. But that was the time. I mean, I was the only kid that looked like me, and I remember struggling to fit in that place, and obviously it was quite formative in that way. But there's a lot of people that this is the road going into Medford Lakes, which is. Essentially, it was just a very white, middle class kind of a place, and that's where I ended up, going to high school. And I couldn't do at the time, there wasn't any sports for me at all. I mean, the thing is, I could do. I tried to wrestle one year. I wrestled 90 pounds, but these guys that I was wrestling, people who were like 90 pounds, but they were like miniature men. And I was just like, I was prepubescent, I used to get killed. So that's why, luckily,
you tried though, right?
I tried. My dad wanted me to try. He showed up to one of my matches, and I got pinned like in 10 seconds or something like that. But and this is, as you can see, just by this journey that you're making right now, every place around here in New Jersey, you have to have a car, and so you can imagine,
or a mouse, right?
Or a mouse. Yeah. Or a mouse, and this is, everybody, all the kids at the time, what you needed to do is you needed to get a car. That was the first thing. I didn't actually get a car until I was 17, which kind of sucked for the last year. My first car was a 68 Ford Fairlane, which I got for $300 at the time. And I drove it, in and out of high school here, and until I realized that it was only running on 4 cylinders. And also that I used to get like loads of headaches in it, and it turned out because the muffler was leaking inside the cab.
So it's like when you started driving, was that like, I guess you could be much more independent, right? And just go.
Yeah. I mean, literally,
what did you do for fun? Were you like quite a rebellious adolescent, or?
Well, when I could get away. I mean, eventually that's why I left New Jersey, and I left home because, and a lot of people have done. So I remember I bumped into somebody who in New York where I spent some time, and he was gay at the time, and gay during the 70s, you could imagine, he left that place. There's a lot of creative people that left that place.
Yeah.
Because it was just so straight, white, Bon Jovi. It's kind of like, you needed a car. You had like keg parties, when your mom and dad were away. It was.
So there's not much space.
It's a TV.
Not much space to be you.
To be different, but I mean, that's all high schools. That's not. You don't. It's not a time to be different. When you're in high school. And for somebody who, couldn't feather their hair back, it was quite a time. But I'm just so glad of it now because being different now is just. It's
a lot of the time all those stuff that makes you an outcast at school is what
God, I'm so glad of it. I mean, I really
ends up
really
being
am
good later on.
I mean, because it drove me to do a lot of things. It drove me to you, Dave.
To hear,
but
but
it drove me to want to escape this place. It was a big deal, and it's always it's a big part of my home where I live. I mean, it's still part of me. And it helped make me. I mean, the idea that just to wanting to go and leave and to explore the world, and because it's America and nobody wants to leave, and a lot of people are still there, and a lot of people that I know, they haven't left that place.
Yeah. Do you still go back here?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's my home. I mean, it's.
Have we got your actual house now? I think we've got.
Yeah. You can. That's.
Oh no, that's the lake.
Yeah, that's. That's the cloud. Yeah, this is Grassy Lake Road,
so
and this is
again a very similar.
Yeah, I mean it's all straight roads, and if you just by that picket fence there, that
do your folks still live here though?
No, they're both gone. They're both passed. So in fact, that's fine for bringing that up, David. It's like no, but that's my dad's car.
Your dad's car.
Yeah, that's quite sad there. But it's that's where I actually was raised, in that house.
That is very classic picket fence. Although you told me this isn't quite a picket
fence.
That's
because my dad said he said I don't want wood, I don't want to paint. So it's all plastic.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's all plastic, and I remember and this
what
is
were
where
your folks like. What? So your dad was in the military?
Yeah, my dad was in the military, and he was in the military for nearly 30 years because he was in the Air Force and he served in Vietnam, and. Just a good man, really. I mean, he did the best he could, and he's of German descent, and his dad was a Philadelphia fireman, and I mean, this place right up here. I mean, but in the front is that's where I decided to join the army. Was right up in front there, because he and I got into a big fight on the, in the front yard. Yeah, man, I thought I could take him. But
fist fight?
Yeah. But the thing is, his dad was actually his dad actually boxed in back rooms in Philadelphia to earn extra money, bare knuckle boxing in bars and things like that. And then obviously his dad taught him and his brother said, his brother Bob, Uncle Bob, used to say Uncle Bob had the knockout punch, but he had the footwork. And he never really taught me how to fight. But I thought...
I love that his brother told him, I'm just teaching you.
Just teach that.
Yeah.
And, but the thing is, I thought that I could take him because, but no, I couldn't. And, after that little fight, he told me, look, because I was 17 at the time, he said, look, you're either going to college or you're working or you're going to the army. You ain't living here. That's it. That was it. That was just like when I was 17. So, probably a couple months later, he signed the papers because I was 17 at the time to join the army. So that's what I did.
And where would be our stop to speak about
that? Fort Dix was probably the first place. Fort Dix, New Jersey was the place. And now it's...
these are old photos.
It's not. These are old photos, but Fort Dix, New Jersey, at the time was the main basic training post for from World War II, essentially. And this was about an hour away from my house in Grassy Lake Road. From there, it was a big part of my life because my dad was retired at the time. We used to play golf there. So I knew of the base, And
were you conscious of like following in your
no, not at all.
To you, it just seemed.
Well, look, I was a terrible student, Dave. I barely, passed high school. I barely passed. I mean, I could go to university, but I just thought, I just need to get out of this place and see what's out there.
So what happened in these buildings? What would you?
Well, these are out buildings. I mean, these aren't on the older buildings. So on the post, you'll see there was sort of like more wooden sort of barracks and stuff that people lived in, and brickwork and stuff like that. And in these sort of parade grounds, there were places where we marched but I knew I was in a situation when I first. I don't know do you know the film? What's the Kubrick film?
Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, the scene where you get your head shaved.
Oh yeah.
Well, essentially, where you go, you show up, and it's like here's a kid who's been sheltered all his life, loved by his parents. Good, solid high school and all that kind of stuff. And then we're all lined up. We have our bags, taking our bags away. We're lined up, and then we go straight to the barber's, get our head shaved. At that time, I said, I was trying to. My hair was really long. It was like a big bowl, and they just freaking shaved it off, and then it's just like
reset you.
From that moment on, it's really. I don't know if they do that in that particular way anymore, but
it's very symbolic, isn't it?
It's very symbolic, and you see and you look around, you see everybody that you came in who were human beings. And then suddenly you're not human beings anymore. And it's just like, that whole... and also you got to remember, I was 90 pounds at that time. And I was just like, just really skinny. I had no meat on my bones or anything. And then we were doing like 6-mile marches with essentially 110-pound packs on our backs with weapons, going up all around Fort Dix. In sandy conditions. So in other words, your feet were like inside doing on these mock patrols where they would blow up fake explosives on the side of you. And at that time as well, during this time, they still fired live rounds over you.
Really?
They don't do that anymore. But there's this one exercise during fire exercises where they fire an M60 machine gun above your head.
Oh my gosh!
Where they actually do it, and you're crawling underneath. They don't do that nowadays because they think, oh well, that might be a bit too dangerous. But
what's the idea of using live rounds just to absolutely terrify you?
Kind of does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does now, even just talking about it. But the thing is, I was made a squad leader, and I remember on one of the exercises, I got everybody killed. So I would have been terrible. I would have been terrible at war.
Yeah.
I think I was. But yeah.
So how long were you in the army?
I was in there for 4 years.
4 years.
And it was for somebody like me, and it was just somebody like a misfit who was a smart ass who had no discipline. I have to say.
Was it a good thing then?
Yeah, it was a good thing for me. I mean, I wish I could have just gone to university. And I wish I could have just gone and found my way, but I don't know the way it is with young men, some young men or some young women. In fact, it just gave me time to see. Oh, actually, the value of education. I ended up taking night courses at the University of Maryland. That's when my dad sort of helped me there. My dad also got me into the unit because I wanted to go into artillery. He said, "What the fuck you want to do?" So he actually got me into military intelligence, and
So you ended up working in military intelligence.
I worked in military intelligence with and I mean I can talk about.
Got any good secrets?
Well, no, it's everything that I know is declassified now, so it's fine.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
I was going to say
I can talk about it. Yeah.
So what were you?
But if you notice, even this,
that's what kind of year was that? What were you?
That was in the 80s.
So what were you looking into then?
So I was my unit. Well, this is further on because after basic training, then I went and trained for 2.5 months, which was one of the longer sort of training things. And that was at Fort Devens in Massachusetts.
Oh yeah.
So we went through.
That's Fort Devens, isn't it?
Is it?
Or is that just where we were?
I don't know.
No, I think that's Fort Devens.
That's Fort Dix.
Same one.
No, but Fort Devens. So I went in from this very sort of Spartan, kill, literally jumping out of the back of deuce and a half trucks with a M60 machine gun, which weighs like 30 pounds, jumping out like gung ho, to training at Fort Evans, Massachusetts, which was the military intelligence school, and then we were just like put together. It was like going to university because it was we actually were billeted with women, so you can imagine that was just a terrible.
So would that not happen in many areas?
No. So military intelligence was essentially linguists, Russian linguists, Chinese Mandarin, signal people such as myself. We were intercepting and jamming and all that kind of stuff, signals. And at that time, that was still the tail end of the Cold War. So we would. We were sort of intercepting messages and decoding them and things like that. And actually, one of the most frightening things was when I was because after the training, which was very hardcore, one of the messages when I was in Berlin, we intercepted, and it was just a message with all our names and ranks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
people who were monitoring other people.
Yeah. On you.
So it was. So I had a top secret clearance and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. And what made you stop doing that? What did you do after that?
Well, I don't know. Well, I do know. I mean, I have a thing with authority. I think a lot of people do. The thing which was great about that particular unit is everybody in that unit, military intelligence, they had they're. I'm not saying that I'm clever, but I worked with a lot of clever people. But they just couldn't deal with normal life or normal.
Because they were so rigid, and
now I'm in the world.
Didn't have that.
Now I'm in the world of comedy, so so it's the same. It's the same.
What, it's rigid?
No, it's the same group of.
Institutionalized.
It's just like comedians are a group of individuals, and military intelligence was very much a group of individuals.
I hear you.
Yeah,
but couldn't you say that about most walks of life? No.
There are.
So what would be
there are people such as team players. Colin's a team player.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So why would military intelligence be? Why would that attract people that aren't team players?
Well, I
know why comedy does.
Well, I mean, I think it's because there's a lot of egos and people are smart. And I remember there's this one guy.
High achievers.
Well, I remember, for an example, there was. I ended up being stationed in Germany in a place after undergoing training, which was very sort of high-end military intelligence. And a lot of CIA people, NSA people were trained there. They all go there. And again, people who go to language school.
Whoa, hang on, sorry, what's happened there? You seen this shit? How's that for a glitch? I clicked along and I'm in jail.
It looks,
you're in Twilight Zone.
It's like Monopoly. You've gone straight to jail.
This is classic.
Is this because you've been sharing secrets, Rick?
Maybe blocked off.
Is this military jail?
Yeah. All right, sorry.
Just
Just carry on what you're saying. We'll just.
I don't know.
I'm
not sure what.
Look around this weird.
So
jail.
we were.
This is Google Street View all over, man. You never know where you're going to end up.
Wow, that is pretty amazing. I mean, that's probably why. Yeah,
just in a void of nothingness.
I can adjust the camera, so Dave. So it's currently just Rick in jail. So you don't need to worry, Dave. I've got you out of there.
Oh man, maybe did people comment on those clouds?
Let me have a look now and see. No.
No, good.
No.
That's what we like to see. I don't like the show being ruined by audience interaction. So, where would the next chapter be, Rick? Now we're in jail.
Well, in jail. Luckily, I never went to jail.
You sound surprised, like
because
you expected to go.
Yeah,
sound disappointed.
I never went to jail before.
Here's your chance.
So yeah, actually, it doesn't look like jail to me. Anyway, that looks like something from like a graphic from a 1960s time travel show. Yeah. The Time Tunnel. That's what it reminds me of. Or it could look like a broccoli sort of.
Whoa, it's kind of trippy.
007 kind of intro to a film or something. It looks really nice.
It's up, up, up.
Yeah.
So where would the next place be? Where should we go?
I'm not sure. I mean, so I went to Germany, and then
Germany's not on Street View, so we
can't do.
What's this place? Why were we going to look at that?
Jackson Road. Where's that? No, that's Fort Dix, I think.
Oh, that's Fort Dix. Right.
Yeah,
that's what we were just talking about.
That's. No, but the thing about that was I ended up stationed with the 11th Armored Cavalry, which is the same unit which is in Apocalypse Now. So you can imagine, it was a shock to the system going from which was the intelligence and being an intelligence unit, and then being attached to this very gung ho unit. I remember going there, and the first thing they did was when they had all the troops out in the Caserta in Fulda, that in Germany, where you can't get any sort of street maps or even jail bars. The helicopter before the new commander took over the unit. There was a helicopter that went over the parade ground, and two men essentially came down ropes with total cavalry gear, just like you would see in Apocalypse Now, and then gave flowers to the general's wife.
Oh, really?
And saluted and went back up on the helicopter. That was pretty formative, because there also was the first time I met sort of British people.
Yeah.
In Germany, and that was my first contact with British people I didn't know, because I thought, at least you can speak English, so this should be easy. Because one of the things about being in Germany as well was the fact that because I wasn't black, Turkish, I could actually get in the German clubs because I spoke a bit German.
Yeah.
So it was just like that was one of the advantages. Though.
Yeah.
But anyway, so why are we here? What's going on?
That's Fort Dix, I think.
That's Fort Dix still. Yeah,
the other place that you're at.
Yeah. God, that was.
What about this lake? You told me you worked on the.
We're going backwards now.
Is that backwards? Just tell me about this though, because you told me you were.
This is just one of the most beautiful lakes in New Jersey. If you like brown water, it's pine water and it's brown, but it's pure, and it's filled with sort of snapper turtles and ticks.
What's the name?
Stuff.
What's the name of the lake?
Atson Lake. Yeah.
But
it's significant in as much as that this journey right here. My dad got me before I joined the army. Actually, a job working with the park rangers. Which essentially was a volunteer thing, and he got the job through the state and everything. Yeah, that's exactly. So in that road down there is just like, if you keep going down, is essentially fire roads all throughout this, which is one of the largest national parks in the Pine Barrens.
And what's it called, that national park?
It's called Atson Lake, but it's the Pine Barrens. It's like huge. In fact, people can go mad there because what happens is it's almost like when you get like desert blindness, because the Pine Barrens are just all the same trees.
Oh, really?
And you can just freak out.
Yeah.
And but it's very beautiful, but it's a bit like beautiful in the same way as Star Trek, the first series, when they land on a beautiful planet and it's all deadly.
Really?
Yeah, because essentially in the trees there's like black pine snakes that hang down. There's huge ticks that give you Lyme disease and other diseases, powassan, and they got like poison oak is everywhere. And like I said, the snapping turtles and
I guess just not many people around, right?
Well, no, and but it's that wilderness is fantastic. Actually, on the left there is a watering hole. If you go down. You can't get down there's water hole, and that's where during what's great about it is that during this volunteer work there'd be like we'd find houses back there, people living there, and this is where like loads of the kids went back to party during high school as well. Have beers and smoke dope and all that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
Listen to Bruce Springsteen, all that kind of stuff. That's that's where you become a Joyzy person.
All right, so there was a nice little bit back in time, and then
back in time.
When did the comedy start, man? When did you start doing comedy? Was that much later?
Well, I went to university, and then I went
here.
Oh, yeah, I went to university, and then
So where are we now?
that's Leicester.
Leicester. Right?
De Montfort. And the thing is, there was a pub, and I don't know if you can go there or not, but it's called the Britain's Protection.
Could I walk there? Click there?
Oh no, that's not there. No, this is in Leicester. This went to uni, did graphic design, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, and and then that's when I moved to. After then, I essentially moved to London, and this is where I got the first taste of Britishness. Really, when I first moved here, and it was it's the 90s. I mean, it was nothing. It was Thatcher. It was, you didn't even have pizza in this country. It was just like, it was terrible. It was just like the worst time. Yeah, honestly, it was. You had curries. That's when I got introduced to curries for the first time. I got totally horribly drunk. This is pretty significant, I suppose. This is the first curry that I've had. It was in Leicester, and it's a great place to have it because next to Bradford, it's probably the best place to have a curry. And then, next to Bradford, and probably Manchester, actually, Curry Miles in Manchester as well. But I would say, I got drunk one night, as you do, and I had a fowl. A fowl.
Oh, yeah, that's the really...
Which is the hottest one.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
And you're like, this is the place for me.
Yeah. And I was already... so I'd lived there, and it was great. And then that's also in Leicester. I supported my... because obviously I was paying fees, which were a lot higher because I was a foreign student. Yeah. And literally, I reckon my diploma was my receipt. I mean, because at the time, you had to get to get. You couldn't just go. You had to do a foundation. You had to do, but I was able to do that, wrangle it, and it was to support my way. I learned glass cutting at home base, which always crap.
That was your job.
Yeah, but also I was a bouncer, and
really,
I was a bouncer, but only because of how I looked. They thought I knew. Oh,
really? Oh, okay, yeah.
And I just took the money, and luckily, I never.
Did you ever have to do any karate?
I basically.
I love that people assume that. Yeah, I'm not messing with that guy.
Yeah, they didn't.
It was
it was a bar, and first I got a job. It was at the bar, and what happened was one time there was a bunch of goths and another group of lads who were just about ready to kick it off in this bar, and what happened was essentially one of the guys, I just moved a chair and one of the guys fell over, and that story turned into that Chinese guy beat the fuck out of this, just did some weird martial arts thing, stopped that guy, and then I got another job at the hotel. Is that one of the
perks of being a
I
Asian?
think so. Yeah.
People
Well, not
just assume.
And then I got fired at the hotel because the one guy had a glass jaw, and it cracked me up that he was a bouncer and he had a glass jaw, and basically he held this guy who wasn't even being a threat. It was during a Christmas dues at the hotel, and he held this guy and he said, punch him, and I wouldn't punch him. I was like cracking up because he was like picking on this guy. He was clearly no threat. And and then I got fired. So I was a bouncer for at least 6 months in Leicester. Yeah.
Wow, man.
And without knowing any martial arts.
Tough guy, Rick. So let's so we got about a little while left. Well, let's talk about comedy quickly. And
comedy.
Shall I go to London? I'm back in London now.
No, well, you can do, but before then, really, my first taste of comedy was in Manchester because I lived in Manchester. Because at the time I was working in advertising, and my favorite, there was a pub there called Britain's Protection.
Come in closer a little bit.
And the Britain's Protection, and it was known as the second worst comedy club in Manchester. Because obviously you got the Frog and Bucket, and you have a couple other clubs there, and I would go up there, and it was just, I'd never seen stand-up comedy live like that before, and I went up there, and it was just, firstly, the acts were really terrible. They were totally terrible. I don't want to name them. I don't even think they still exist. But I went for like
Colin
every
Chadwick.
day. I don't know. I went there, and it was just, honestly, there were horrible. Not saying prop comedy is horrible, but there was like a horrible prop comedian, and it was just like. But I was just pissing myself, dude. I was probably laughing for the wrong reasons. But that's when I fell in love with comedy, to be honest. That's the first time I thought, this is quite magical. Because, the audiences, there's only like 10 people in there, but we had the best time. And I thought, well, if you could, and look at us now, it's still only about 10 people in the audience. But, but
look
honestly,
how far we've come.
Yeah. But that's when I thought, oh, this is interesting. And then I didn't start thinking about doing it until I came to London. And then when I came to London, I took a course with City Lit with a guy called Andy Fox, and started trying to learn the art of comedy. And I knew nothing about it. And then like my second gig, I was at So You Think You're Funny, and then my sixth gig was like BBC. BBC. I had no idea, and in fact, I had no idea to the point where I beat the gong at the Comedy Store, and one of the times I beat it, I had a guitar because I was a musical act at the time.
Oh, really?
And I brought the guitar on the stage, but I didn't use it at all, and I didn't even think about it. That was it. And then I just forgot about it. And then I was given a 10-minute slot at the Comedy Store, and I just did all new material.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I had no idea about comedy at all, Dave. And that's when I first started.
You didn't know the honing.
I didn't know anything about that. That's how, that was 10 years ago. So then I've flipped in and out of comedy since then, But now I'm firmly in it, thankfully.
That's awesome, man. I'll tell you a good way that we like to round it off.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
It's a bit corny, but we go back in time for all the places. And I guess, well, not to Japan, but to here, and say, like, if you saw the young sort of 10-year-old Rick walking along the street there, and if you could give him some advice, what would you say?
I would say, don't worry about it, dude. It works out. That's what I would say. And it does. It really does.
Do you think he'd be scared? Like, see, why is this guy here?
And
then you tell him, you'd say, it's Dave Green Street View show. Make sure you subscribe. You won't know what that is yet, but you'll find out.
I mean, the thing is, you can see it's a really long road as well. It's I'd probably say, don't worry, you learn how to drive, and it's cool.
Let's just click.
Look how straight that is, man.
Yeah, man. I feel like this episode's been a lot of clicking.
Yeah, a lot of clicking.
Roads. That's what we like, man.
A lot of balls.
I never learned to drive, so I make up.
You never. No. That's right. You were talking about that.
There's no time to go in that now. That's why I compensate by clicking around maps. I just pretend. All right, man. I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to add before we?
No, it's been really enjoyable. I'd like to street view you at some point.
Street view my ass. Yeah. Colin's got something to say.
It's funny you say that, Rick. Alex Newby has enjoyed your street view, Rick, and asked the same thing. Is when is Dave going to give himself the street view treatment?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Interesting you say that, Alex Newby. Now, what I'm going to start doing, I think, is maybe a little section at the beginning of the show. Maybe where I just share a little memory.
Yeah.
Just a little one, though, not too much.
And if people watch all of them, they can piece together where you live.
Exactly. I'm aware, like, hosting the show, it's very easy because I'm just asking the guests to say everything right.
Yeah.
But I think, maybe at the start of the show, maybe I'll start.
There we go.
Sharing moments from my life. So if that doesn't make you tune in again, I don't know what will. But I think that's been really cool, man. I think that was a really nice episode. So, and thanks for watching, guys. And as always, just make sure you subscribe. Tell it, if you're enjoying the show, tell a friend. And, the streaming schedule at the moment is a bit all over the place because we're trying to fit it around our other stuff we're doing. But I think we're going to go every Friday afternoon, hopefully in the new year. So if you're watching it live, tune back in then and you can play our little games and, just have a lot of fun. And that's it. So all that's left to do now is to zoom out into the sky. Thanks for watching, guys. I've been Dave Green. This has been Dave Green's Street View Show. He's been Rick Kieswetter. And that's it. Thanks, guys. Thank you.